Welcome back to Jersey Central on the new Talk Radio 1450 WCTC, the voice of Central Jersey. It's Bert. Good morning to you. My guest who's joining me on the Jersey Central Newsmaker Hotline, he's been known to make people cry, but it's the good way because he will make you laugh so hard that you just might find yourself laughing. He's been doing it for a long time, and we're real honored that he's going to be coming back to the stage in New Jersey this week. He's got a gig coming up Thursday at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown. And let me welcome to WCTC the great Jackie Mason. Jackie, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning. How do you do? How do you do? Certainly a pleasure. That's a fabulous introduction. You look like you sound like you've done this before. You know your business.
Well, I've never done this with a legend of your size.
Smooth as silk. Boom, boom, boom. You bang it out like it comes right out of the machine. It's perfect.
I try. Thank you, Jackie. And you know your business, so you make introducing you so easy. As soon as you say the name Jackie Mason, everybody knows you from television and comedy and your comedy albums, which are just legendary. And Jackie Mason comes to town. People get excited.
Well, thank God. Thank God. It's always a pleasure to hear that. It's lovely to know that, and it was a lot of work, a lot of time, and it certainly was worth all the effort and time I put into it because it's paying off now. It's a pleasure to see when you go into any place and you do business and people applaud before you even say hello, and they jump for joy and they just out of memory, and you don't have to work too hard. Because you're already a hit just by saying hello.
Yeah, and you know that doesn't happen overnight, Jackie. Look how hard you had to work just to get to this point now where people know you everywhere you go. It's not easy.
It certainly wasn't easy because I was never the type of a guy who ever rested on previous performances. I always was trying to be fresh and new and different and relevant, and I always had the kind of a motto that I told myself that if it's in the news, it's in the show. I always wanted to be as fresh and new as the news is.
Yeah, and nowadays with the news cycle turns over constantly. I mean, the audiences, they're looking for some fresh new content, and I'm going to give you two words that probably makes your job pretty easy nowadays. Donald Trump. I mean, that's good for your gig, right?
You're not kidding. He's funny. It's hard to be as funny as he is. It's hard to catch up to him. Usually you have to be funny and make jokes about a guy who sounds like a normal person, but he's so strange and weird and crazy and wild that he's funnier than you are. You have to catch up to him. Somebody would think that he has a script writer writing jokes for him every 5 minutes because everything he does somehow is so weird and wild that it becomes a joke by the time he shows up.
There's got to be somebody writing the material.
You would never know what he does for a living. You would never know he's a politician or he's a president. If somebody told you a guy with orange hair and a strange kind of a conversation like that whose language is everything but English. Somehow he sounds like he has a language of his own, a script of his own, an approach of his own, a style of his own. He's a strange, weird character of his own type. He's like he invented a character that nobody would imagine or even dream of for a job like this. If he could you imagine if they were casting a character to play a president in a movie? Could you imagine them picking him?
He's the last guy I would have thought. You're right.
He looks a lot more like a Barker in Coney Island.
Jackie Mason still bringing it, right? He's going to be in Morristown this coming Thursday at the Mayo Performing Arts Center. Very limited number of tickets remain. They're selling fast, and no surprise when Jackie Mason comes to town. So get yours at mayoarts.org. And so many of my friends, I told them you were going to be with me on the show today, Jackie, and a really good friend of mine who runs New Jersey Monthly Magazine, which is in the same town where you're going to be performing on Thursday, still to this day plays your comedy records and just still laughs out loud at some of the material then. I think for a new generation of people that weren't able to get comedy records from the greats like you and Red Fox and guys who were known for putting out these comedy albums, they're missing out on some great stuff.
Well, that's their own fault. They should be put in jail if they're
imprisonment.
If they're ignoring a thing like this. We're giving them free entertainment. It's worth a fortune, and if they're neglecting it, they should at least give it to somebody else because You have no right to take such valuable material and just forget about it. If I find out who any of these people are, I'm going to call a cop immediately.
Oh, we'll get you some names then. All right, very good. And Jackie, they say timing in everything is life. I was reading the paper the other day, and there was a whole article about how athletes are kind of given this, this salute. Where you put the one finger up and they're saluting the fans who are booing them. Take us back through the story, because I was looking back at your history, and you're accused of telling Ed Sullivan he's number one. Did that really happen or not? Some people say yes, some people say no.
Well, obviously, it must have been a fantastic story, because it was headlines. You would never know there was a war going on at the time. You would never know that there was any problem in the streets or in the country or in the world. You would never know there was a depression, a recession, a fight, a war. You would never know there was anything else going on. You would never know that people have families or troubles or problems or schools. Or you would never know there's anything else in existence at the time. You could have thrown somebody right out of a building, and you couldn't even get any space in the paper for it. This was the only story that everybody was. Who knew a guy making a gesture, a finger, or a movement would be the most important thing that ever happened? Nobody died from it. Nobody suffered from it. It didn't cause any problem for anybody, but somehow it was the biggest story of that era. For days and days, people were talking about it on television. Red Skelton was talking about it. Bob Hope. Everybody who was a star on every show somehow found room for this incident, as though it was the most important thing that ever happened. To this day, 50 years later, I still can't understand what was so significant about it that everybody got so excited about.
Well, everybody was...
Ed Sullivan imagined that somehow I gave him the finger.
Right.
I never did such a thing. I never knew what it even meant. Just came out of the yeshiva in the Bronx. I had just been a rabbi only a couple of years earlier. I never was raised to think of such gestures. I never said such words or ever had such expressions. I never knew what it meant or what it was, and all of a sudden I became a victim of something that I didn't even know what it was about or what it represented.
Wow.
Even though that I didn't even know what it meant if he gave somebody the finger.
He was.
And when he was furious and blew his top at me,
yeah.
He really was sincere. He was legitimate. He didn't have any reason to make it up. He just felt that he saw something that he believes really happened.
He was mad, and you guys talked it out, and you worked it out eventually, right?
We eventually worked it out. About a year and a half later, I was back on the show. He apologized to me.
Wow.
After a while, and he began to realize that he made a big mistake, and he felt sorry, he felt guilty. He was basically a good-hearted, wonderful man. And he just thought that I did a vulgar thing, and he felt betrayed and defrauded. That he thought he helped me and helped me become a big hit, which is true. He really did. And
right.
he was a great, fabulous help to my career.
Well, that clears up that urban legend. So thank you for putting that to bed after 50 years of waiting. So there you go. Right. But in Morristown this Thursday, the Mayo Performing Arts Center, mayoarts.org for tickets, information. Limited number of tickets remain, so get yours and catch the incredible Jackie Mason live on stage at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown this coming Thursday night.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the plugs, and thanks for all these beautiful compliments. God bless you. Take care of yourself, my friend.
You too.
If you ever need a problem, and if anybody ever gives you the finger, give me a call. I'll help you out. I'll jump right in to help you out, because you have certainly made